What's a common dating advice that actually makes things worse? Wait 3 days to call or text after a date. This rule belongs in a 1990s sitcom. In the era of instant communication, waiting 3 days to reach out usually just signals that you are either disinterested, playing games, or incredibly rude. If you had a great time, sending a text that night or the next morning shows confidence and genuine interest. Yes. Communication is so much different than it even was 10 years ago. What, am I supposed to write and send a letter? 3 days because that's how long the carrier pigeons take to arrive. My Nana, born in 194, was just telling me the story of how her parents met. My great-granddad had seen a pretty lady on the bus and asked if he could send her letters while he was away at war. It was a simpler time. Or absolutely never double texting. Just talk like a person, not like you're playing some elaborate game. If someone actually likes you, they're thrilled if you text them at any hour of the day. Go on dates with people you actually like and treat them like you like them. If they don't respond well to it, it was never going to happen anyway. The only trick is to not be needy. Don't be needy. I'm an anxious person, so someone being turned off by me texting them too soon would be a sign that we're not compatible anyway. Being with them would probably make me overthink everything. You'll just know when you find the one. This puts an immense amount of pressure on that spark or instant connection. Many of the best, most stable relationships start as a slow burn where attraction and love grow over time. If you walk away from every person who doesn't give you immediate fireworks, you might be missing out on your best match. I feel this one is the most pernicious. I've lost track of how many second dates I didn't go on because she didn't feel the spark. What do you eat with someone you are meeting for the first time? Unless it's just a polite way to say you are not attractive to me at all. Because otherwise it seems like people are fixated on an imaginary feeling or irritance rather than actually getting to know a person and building a connection. Dating apps have really fucked this up for people. It's so easy to swipe away somebody you might really have vibed with after a date or two. Ick, I think it's a waste of time to continue dating someone who you don't find attractive or interesting or either. I've been on many a first date where I am just not interested in ever seeing or talking to the guy again. Genuinely, would you rather they say that instead of not feeling the spark? There's no such thing as the one. There's 8 billion people. Plenty of ones to choose from. Absolutely agree. Certainly there may be people you click with better than others, but the idea of someone out there perfectly constructed for us is at best delusional and at worst, grossly selfish. Mind, I think the story is beautiful, and a lovely way to describe someone you feel strongly about, but it's long since been bastardized by marketing companies in order to sell us stuff. And advice that includes, then see if they notice. Use your words FFS. See if they notice, like humans are peacocks displaying their feathers to get noticed by a mate. Love will find you when you stop looking. This sounds poetic, but it's essentially telling you to leave your romantic life to pure luck. While obsessing over dating isn't healthy, not looking often leads to social isolation. Relationships usually require some level of intentionality, like going to events, using apps, or asking friends for introductions. I think the spirit of that advice is, go with the flow and don't put too much pressure on meeting the one right now. I've met tons of people who it's clear that they're aggressively looking for love and, at least I, found it a bit desperate and off-putting. There's a sexy indifference to not putting pressure on interactions but while still being intentional. Very hard balance though. This is how I always viewed this saying also. I always say I don't go shopping, but if I find someone interesting, I pursue it. Also, to just be open to whatever comes your way. Finding your one can't be forced. I've heard that works for women, but not for men. As for my wife and me, we both got a little boost to being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, that was my first thought. This seems like advice for people who can eke to get a useful amount of inbound interest without ever having to work for it. It works only for women. Men are eeked to approach and make the first move. So women can wait and their person will come eventually. This is terrible advice for men. If they wait and find nobody, people will tell them why didn't they put themselves out there or try harder. Well, it used to be true. If you weren't looking in the 90s, you would still be forced to meet people at work, the grocery store, running errands, and through real-life friendships. Now, however, you can hide in your room, doom scroll your life away, and sort of get your needs met without talking to hardly anyone. Kiss on the third date? No, kiss when it feels right, whether it's the third or 10th. I have never waited past the first date. Good first dates I don't even wait till the end. Bad first dates I decide I don't want to kiss before it ends. One of the worst dating experiences I've had in a long time was a girl who seemed repulsed by any type of kissing after 5 dates. When we did, the chemistry was actually there, but I couldn't get out of my mind how fragile she seemed before that. She had other issues too, but I like people who like to kiss. It's very important physical contact. On the flip side, I don't want to kiss someone who's eager to kiss on the first date. Physical touch and sexual compatibility are essential for me in a relationship, too. I love it. But it's also important to me that it means something to my partner, not something they do with just anyone they vibe with. Not just kissing. Whether it's holding hands or hammering holes, you do it when it feels right to both of you, even if that's the first date or even the first 20 minutes after meeting. I feel like nowadays it's sex by date 3. I feel, if anything, with Tinder and other hookup apps, first date sex became super normal for a while, too. It was also totally sex on the third date where she's approved 20 years ago, too. Did that ever stop being the eactation between now and then? Never go to bed angry. This is one of the most stressful pieces of advice out there. Sometimes, you are both just tired, grumpy, and incapable of a rational conversation at 1 a.m. Forcing a resolution when you're exhausted often leads to saying things you regret. Often, the best thing you can do is sleep and discuss the issue with a fresh perspective in the morning. I was at a wedding where the father of the bride gave a better version of that advice. He phrased it as, never have a huffy bed. I don't know if that's too English and too northern to be legible on Reddit. Basically, what he meant was that you should put your problems to one side when you go to sleep, reaffirm that you love each other, and pick back up in the morning once you're well rested. Yeah, I tried to follow this when I was younger and all it led to was pointless fights in the middle of the night. Yeah. I can say from lived personal experience and professional experience, trying to do heavy topics or address complex issues when you're tired, stressed or overwhelmed leads to fuck-ups. It's a great idea to do a little bit of repair after a rupture. You do not need to do the whole rupture and repair process in one go. If the relationship is important, then you will probably want to do the super complicated important stuff when you aren't fucking exhausted and have a short temper. I have had partners who were good at repair and took space when they knew they needed to. Those relationships lasted a long time. Because everyone was patient and careful in their communication. I have had partners who insisted on trying to having very difficult discussions when they were exhausted, sick and on the tail end of multiple crises that day. Those relationships ended in a matter of weeks. Because impulsive shit got said that couldn't be taken back. The worst thing she can do is say no. In reality, the worst thing she can do is not give you a straight answer at all, or she can just completely ignore you like you don't even exist. Shit will fuck you up real quick and have you questioning your own worth. In most cases, anything other than an emphatic yes is a no. I'm a dude, and every single time Eve been in an actual relationship, Eve known pretty quick that the woman was into me. It's unfortunate how many people are unwilling to clearly say yes or no regarding their interest. We shouldn't string others along as backup plans. I've asked multiple women about that and always get the same response: you only need one guy to turn from nice to angry / aggressive / scary upon heading the word no to rapidly change your views on this one. As a woman, I just don't get all the obsession around getting the ring and these toxic female coaches who go as far as saying, you're single until you're married. I don't understand why everyone acts like a wedding ring will magically end all suffering on earth and guarantee long-term peace and love. Maybe I'm pessimistic, but I'm not naive. I'd much rather see all that passion around the ring invested in finding the right, healthy partner. You can get the ring and still be abused for years. It's actually crazy. I've been with my girl now 7 years. Haven't proposed and am starting to feel some pressure from her and others about it. The last 2 years though have been horrible. Dad broke his back in 23 and mom had a hip and knee replacement. I went home to help them both. Later that same year I lost a pretty high-paying job, and have been underemployed ever since. Took a few odd jobs but never making enough for rent on my own or to pay down student loans. Every paycheck basically keeps me out of credit card debt. I had $40,000 saved 2 years ago for a house down payment that's basically all gone. Now that we are of age, her timeline is all weddings from friends and shorts about it. Yeah, now's the perfect time to shell out 3 months' worth of salary on a wedding ring. The world isn't the same one we grew up in. Back then a janitor could support a family of 3 to 4 people. It's nuts.